Before we get started, thanks to the sponsor of today's video, TIEGE HANLEY. For more details, stay tuned to the end of this video to find out how you can receive 10% off your first box of TIEGE HANLEY. What do guys like Tom Selleck, Sam Elliott, Mark Twain, even Ron Burgundy have in common? If you said having an epic mustache, you'd be right, my friend. With great mustaches comes great responsibility. And today that's what we're going to talk about. 10 tips for dealing with the power, dealing with the day-to-day struggles of an epic mustache. Let's talk about some man shit. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you probably know that historically speaking, I have not kept an extremely long mustache. I used to keep my mustache fairly short just for the sake of ease. They get in the way. They're awesome, but eating, drinking, lots of other activities, long mustaches can be a bit of a pain. Then I was kind of looking at my mustache one day in comparison to the beard, and I thought, man, I really look a little unbalanced. I had this really long beard, this really short mustache, and I looked a little, well, Amish, I guess is the best word for it. I looked a little Amish. Nothing wrong with that if you are Amish, but then again, I don't think any Amish people are watching this, because now that I think about it, I don't think they can watch TV, so I think we're good there. Along my journey of growing out my mustache, I have figured out some tips and tricks in dealing with having a longer mustache, so I figured I'd share those with you today. Mustaches. They're known by many names. We've got the mustache, soup strainer, flavor saver, crumb catcher, cookie duster, lip luggage, lip rug, snot mop, smoke filter, womb broom, pretty good, handlebars, lady tickler, lip sweater, nose neighbor, crustache, and poon broom. So, point is, mustaches have got a whole lot of different names. With all the different names of mustaches, there are just as many styles. You've got like your pencil mustache, which is kind of like a Zorro looking deal. You got a Fu Manchu, which is kind of like what Hulk Hogan has. You got a chevron, which is your kind of standard Tom Selleck looking mustache. But those are usually shorter, a little easier to deal with mustaches. Today, we're gonna focus on day-to-day life with longer mustaches, like your handlebar mustache and your walrus and your Hungarian. All of those that, you know, come with their own unique set of problems with having that much long hair right around your food hole. What? Do I have something in my mustache? Okay, tip number 1, straws. Straws are your friend when you have a mustache. While sipping a little whiskey and getting a little of that in your mustache and that aroma lingering an hour later may be a fairly pleasant thing. However, milk or other substances may not be as pleasant 45 minutes later in your mustache. Straws allow you to easily drink liquids without getting them in your mustache. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Jeremy, great tip, but I'm not about to sit there and drink my coffee or a beer for that matter out of a straw. That leads us to tip 2. I don't really like drinking coffee with a straw. I get it. That's why they make stuff like this. I drink most of my fluids out of a Yeti. Now, this is the one I keep my water in. It has a travel lid with a little hole, which makes it very easy for you to sip out of without involving your mustache too much. They make different sizes of these. They make a coffee cup version. Even at Starbucks or other places, when you get coffee, they have a lid on them. Put that in your mouth and sip it and keep your mustache high and dry. So those are great. When you're out drinking beer, you're gonna have to make a sacrifice. Don't get it draft, get it in a bottle. You can easily drink out of a bottle with a large mustache and keep all that frothy foam and head from a beer getting stuck in there. Yeah, Jeremy, but I want a draft. Well, having a mustache requires some sacrifices. You're gonna have to give up the draft and have a bottle. Or just deal with having a bunch of froth in your mustache, either one. Drinking out of an open cup with a mustache is just a freaking nightmare. Your next biggest problem is eating food. There are lots of foods that can present a real issue when you have a whole bunch of hair around your mouth. Some more than others, obviously. Buffalo wings, ribs, things like that are an absolute nightmare. You better have a hose nearby if you plan on eating those things. Even things like burgers and subs and whatnot, where you have to open your mouth up really wide and then it draws these hairs from the side kind of in a little, so that when you go to take a big bite, you're biting down on the lip hair. And if you have a mustache, you know the pains of getting just one little hair in here and biting down, and it just yanks the one little mustache. Oh, God, I hate that. Not to mention all the mess all over your face, which is just a disaster to deal with. My suggestion to dealing with that, forks and knives. Use a fork and knife whenever you can. Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna eat a chicken wing with a fork and a knife. Okay, then don't. Then walk around with a quarter pound of chicken and buffalo sauce all over your face. I don't care. I'm just saying I know lots of guys with big beards and mustaches that say they can't eat buffalo wings without making a big mess. And I tell you, if you take you a knife and a fork and you cut it off into manageable pieces, most of the time you can get it into your mouth without making a huge mess. So, use a knife and a fork, cut your stuff up. You can easily get it through there without any problems. And this is probably rude for me to chew with my mouth full, or talk with a mouthful. Okay, subs, things like that. And my buddy Jason Dagner, who has a huge long beard, told me this. 1-inch strips, subs, sandwiches, hamburgers, stuff like that. If you cut it into narrow strips, then you can fit those narrow strips in this little narrow kind of safe zone right here in the middle, and usually not incorporate too much mouth hair, make too big of a mess, or drag too much hair into your mouth. Use your knife and a fork whenever you can, especially with really messy foods that are saucy and whatnot. With lots of finger foods, cut them into 1-inch strips. I find that if you do those things, you're gonna find your dining experience to be much more gentlemanly like. Next tip to keeping your mustache nice and clean throughout the day is carry a hank. Yeah, a hanky. You know, hanks are something that a lot of guys used to carry back in the day, and it kind of fell out of favor, but I feel like the EDC community is kind of bringing the old hank back into style, and more guys are carrying these days. But nevertheless, throughout the day, you're gonna get a lot of crap in your mustache. All kinds of stuff, liquids, food stuff, and it's handy to have something to wipe your face with. Get the stuff out of your mustache. Hanks also come in handy for all kinds of other things. You can clean your glasses with them, clean up spills, lots of stuff. I don't particularly use it for the original kind of intent of blowing your nose. I don't know. I just think putting like a rag of snot in your pocket is kind of weird. I don't know. Lots of older guys do it, but I can't bring myself to blow my nose into it and put it back in my pocket. But nevertheless, it comes in handy for lots of other daily tasks. So I feel like a hank is a good thing to keep on you. So you always have something to clean your mouth off like a sir. Next tip we're talking about is another thing that any mustached man should probably keep on his person, and that is a little mustache comb. Throughout the day, with all the getting stuff in it and the wiping it and the keeping it clean and the whatnot, your mustache is gonna get a little unruly, certainly. So it's always good to have a little comb handy, just so you can kind of tame the beast a little bit and get things kind of back in shape. This guy doesn't take up a lot of room. It's a tiny little comb that you can just toss down in your pocket. It might even be big enough to do some small hair touch-ups if you don't have really long hair. You know, this is another item that I feel like a lot of gentlemen used to carry on them back in the day. Years ago, always had a handkerchief and a pocket comb. They both kind of fell out of favor, but if you are a mustached man, both of these items are gonna come in really handy to help keep your mustache in good shape throughout the day. Let's take a little trip down to the bathroom for a few grooming tips. All right, so I know what you're saying. You're saying, Jeremy, why in the hell are we in the shower with you? I wasn't really ready to take our relationship to that level. And if I'm being honest, I agree. Just whatever you do, don't look down. Got to keep this thing censored, YouTube friendly. We're in the shower because the next tip is keep your mustache clean. You're gonna wanna wash your mustache at least once a day, if not more than once a day, if you get some nasty food stuff in it. I know that's opposite of my normal recommendation for beards, which is don't overwash them because they'll dry out, but your mustache is different in the fact that it's precariously located in the danger zone, right below your snot maker and right above your food hole, so this guy is just gonna constantly be getting nasty stuff in it. You're not gonna wanna leave that in there. My good buddy Tom tells a story about eating a bagel with some cream cheese, then about a half hour later, walking around the house going, what the hell is that nasty smell? And he thought something had gone off in the house, but it turns out He just didn't get all the cream cheese out with the napkin, so the cream cheese was starting to get a little sour in the old mustache, which is nasty. So you want to keep that kind of stuff from occurring. If you know from my other videos, I don't recommend using normal shampoo or soap in facial hair. I've had some guys comment they do use that stuff and it works for them, and if that's the case, then carry on, go right ahead. But most of the time it's going to dry your facial hair out, so which is why I recommend something like these guys. These are beard shampoos. They're specifically formulated for facial hair. They are built to cleanse the hair without over drying it, so they're in general going to be a better choice. At least once a day, give right around your mouth, your mustache and stuff, a good scrub it up to keep that thing nice and clean. Your significant other is going to thank me for it, and you, because who wants to walk around smelling sour cream cheese? That's just nasty. I'm going to continue my shower, so if you don't mind, a little privacy, please. All right, so now that we're out of the shower, the next tip is going to involve using some products to keep the beast under control throughout the day. In the past, I tried to grow my mustache out. It never worked for me. It drove me crazy, which is what always led me to cut it. Well, one of the tips that has really helped me this time grow it out without just going insane is mustache wax. I'm gonna highly recommend you get some mustache wax. A lot of you might think, well, mustache wax is only if you wanna have it up in the big handlebars, or if you wanna have some kind of crazy up style, you know, really very stylized kind of mustache. That's not true at all. This stuff here is like a medium hold mustache wax. It's not gonna probably be enough if you wanna do a handlebar. If you wanna do a handlebar type mustache or something like that, you're probably gonna go something with a little more hold than this. This is just enough to kind of keep it together and help you tame the beast a little bit and start to train that mustache to stay out of your mouth and out of your way, so you can go about your day without this thing being just a huge hindrance. This kind, another reason I like it is it comes in this little chapstick type thing. It's very easy. Once I get out of the shower, put my beard oil in my beard and everything, you just go and you apply a little bit of this stuff throughout your mustache. I say a little bit, but it really depends on the length of your mustache, how liberal you go, and how much hold you want to have. But you want to make sure you get a little on the underside here around your mouth, which is what helps those hairs stay up out of your way. Just give it a good schlacking all over this stuff. Then you can just kind of mold it, start to train that guy to keep up out of your way, and that's just gonna kind of help A, make your mustache look a little neater throughout the day, and like I said, B, keep it up away out of your mouth, keep you from eating mustache hairs all day. Even if you have a walrus mustache, which is the one that comes down of your upper lip, you can still use a little bit of this just to kind of help it just tame the beast a little bit and keep it from looking like a bunch of angry spiders congregating on your face. No matter what kind of mustache you have, I think mustache wax is a really good tip for helping you tame the beast throughout the day and make it a lot easier to deal with having all this hair right around your mouth hole. That is going to lead us right into our next tip: blow dryers. Don't make it weird. I know for some previous comments on videos when I talked about using blow dryers, you got these guys that don't believe in like any form of grooming. They don't like to shower. They use like motor oil in their beard and don't wash themselves. And if you're that kind of guy, hey, all the more to you. This probably isn't the video for you. But if you're interested in maintaining good grooming habits and taking care of your beard, then trust me, a blow dryer is gonna go a long way to helping you get this stuff under control. So I'm not gonna go into great detail on exactly how you should blow dry it, because obviously if you have like a handlebar, you're probably gonna wanna use something like one of these round brushes, get it in there and turn it up and get those curls going. I've seen some guys use actual chapstick tubes, lots of different ways. If you have a walrus, you're probably gonna comb it straight down. Point is, you're gonna wanna use your hair dryer on about a medium-high heat while you're trying to brush it into the style you're trying to get to warm that hair up and make it more malleable. Face hair is very stiff and it doesn't wanna cooperate, but when you heat it up, it makes it a little more pliable and makes it a little easier to style. The important last step is, before you're done, most hair dryers, and I mentioned this on my beard care video, most hair dryers have a cool setting. You're gonna wanna hit it with the cold air. The cold air is gonna help cool it off and kind of help lock it in place. That's really gonna go a long way to helping train this mustache to go in the direction you want and not drive you bananas all day. The last tip we're gonna go over before we leave the bathroom: trimming your mustache. Depending on the style of mustache you're having is gonna depend on how you trim it, certainly. Make sure you use something designed for cutting hair. I mean, you know, use some scissors that are designed for cutting hair, maybe some trimmers. We're guys, I've seen guys trimming these things with like scissors, that kitchen shears for like cutting meat, freaking bush trimmer, knives, I mean, all kinds of stuff. Spend just a few bucks, get yourself a nice pair of scissors that is designed for cutting hair, or depending on how you do your trimming style, some clippers. The other thing is, Don't ever trim your mustache while it's wet. You don't want to do that. When your hair's wet, it hangs a little lower, and then if you trim it while it's wet and then it dries, it's going to shrink up, and then your cuts are going to be way shorter than what you thought. Style it in the manner that you normally would, get it nice and dry in the way you normally wear it, and then do your trimming. Just a couple little quick cutting tips. And our last tip is be patient and man up. I'm sorry if the weight of manhood is too much for you to bear. There is gonna just be some frustrations you're gonna have to deal with when having a big mustache. You're gonna have to be patient, take some things a little slower, like being a little more meticulous about how you eat your food, how you drink your drinks, keeping a hank handy to keep your mustache clean, combing it throughout the day. There are just certain unavoidable things you're gonna have to deal with when having a long mustache. So just be patient, take it in stride, and man the f up a little bit. It's just kind of the way it goes. You have to pay the cost to be the boss, as they say. I think that they say that, right? That's a thing? I think that's a thing. I feel like that's a thing. Hopefully these tips come in handy for you and help you navigate those waters of being an epic beardsman and keeping that grooming game on point like a sir. Another great way to keep your grooming game on point like a sir is with the sponsor of today's video, TIEGE HANLEY. You've probably heard me talk about TIEGE HANLEY multiple times. I've done several videos where I've mentioned them. I actually did a full review, so if you're interested in the full lowdown on the TIEGE HANLEY system, I did one. I will link that video right up here. I'll also put a link down below. But for the cliff notes of why I love their product so much and I've chosen to partner up with them, TIEGE HANLEY is a monthly subscription men's skincare system designed specifically for men. Most of us guys aren't interested in a bunch of complicated skincare products and having to do 15 different steps to do all this. Most of us aren't going to deal with all that. And TIEGE HANLEY has made it super, super easy for guys like you and me. They have systems starting as low as $25 a month. Your level 1 system is going to include a face wash, a scrub, and an AM and PM moisturizer. You're just going to go on their website, select the level of system you're interested in getting, and then TIEGE is going to send you a full 30-day supply of everything you need every single month. Not only are they really high quality products and do they work great, but it just takes all the complications out of it. They send you everything you need once a month so you don't have to worry about it. TIEGE was nice enough to give me a coupon code for you guys, so if any of you guys are interested in checking them out, look for a link I put below and that's going to give you 10% off on your first order of TIEGE HANLEY. Once again, big thanks to my friends over at TIEGE HANLEY for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video. So that's it. That wraps up another episode of Man Shit. Hopefully you guys got some good information out of this one and enjoyed hanging out with me for a little while. If you did, feel free to smash that like button. That always helps us out. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. We'd love to have you on board. I hope everybody is having a fantastic week. Until next time, do man shit, and we will see you in the next video.